Welcome back to Anima. So now it's been like a week and a half, something like that. Since I last played, and I'm a little worried because I realized that this game has like no real way of tracking your progress or telling where you left off or what stuff might be in progress. So I'm kind of grasping at straws here, but I'm trying to visit the location of the red tree, which I believe is this weird pocket I saw before. Like I think I made note of it before of being like, is this a reference to some specific thing at some point in like the origin material of this game? There's the red tree. So there it is. Much like the gravestone and other things like that, it's just a weird... It was a big weird question mark throughout the game. You just see it and you're like, that's a weird thing that looks different from everything else. And there was no acknowledgement of it, but that's because it's for this guy's sub-quest, I'm sure. There he is.
You found me a second time. Here is another part of the reward, World Walkers. Next time, I will be waiting in a white plain, where the ground and sky become one. Come and find me.
And now it's my job to do that again. Okay. It says new reports unlocked. Is that... Oh, these are just pieces of backstory, though. Aren't these all really... I want to say these were all really badly written, weren't they? I forget. I tried to read some of the lore at some point and then immediately gave up on reading it myself because the version you read is so poorly written that I'm like, you know what? I'll think better of this game if I don't try to read these. The funny thing is that the narrated scripts are still filled with typos and they're a weird mess every single time, but the person reading them just fixes all the typos and reads it like it's actual English. But then somehow the script isn't updated to match what they said, which is fascinating to watch. Yeah, so I'll do my best to find all the secrets or follow up on any quest lines there are to follow up on. There's just a bit of a difficulty. That's not where I'm trying to go, is it? There's just a bit of a difficulty in the fact that that I don't think the game has tools in it to help you find what you're missing or even know what you're forgetting. So that might lead to something getting left behind. I'm gonna go try to find this plane. I think I'm on the right track here because this entire place is white. Period. White ground, white sky. I can't think of anything else that would mean sky and ground become one. Whoops, that's the horn. That's not the way down. So I'm gonna run around and try to find a weird spot. That's the portal. Is that the portal? That's the front entrance, isn't it? Okay. What would be a weird... That's changing characters. What would be a weird spot? The far right is where the headstone was located. And the left over there is where I just came from. So I'm gonna go up and left. Because the right side is the headstone. We've already been there, and that was for a different sub-quest. Ow. Dick. This doesn't go anywhere. Nope. Not super promising right now. Oh. Camera change. What? You can't even see the sky here because we're just looking down. And what makes this specific spot more important than all the other parts of this entire region? Oh well.
You found me again. Take this. It's a new part. You have almost finished your journey. When next we meet, I will be in a cave near the place where we met for the first time.
Near the place where we met for the first time. Was there a cave in the Mansion of Puppets? I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this was gonna happen. Am I going the wrong way? Oh yeah. The cave is above me, actually. But I just knew this was gonna happen when I first saw this damn spike hallway. And all those prisoners and stuff. I knew it was gonna be this really frequently traveled place. And if you have to go the other way, there's like 30 spikes, and damn, it's just annoying to walk down that thing every time. Timing yourself past the spikes, just... Alright. Crush, crush, step forward, crush, crush, step forward, crush, crush, step forward, step forward. It's like, why would you put that kind of trap in a place you're going to have people visit over and over again throughout the game? It's the most trafficked hallway of the entire game that isn't in the main core room. It's insane.
So it is done. The circle is closed. Here is the last fragment. Once you have it, if you are able to understand its meaning, we will meet again. I hope to see you soon, World Walkers.
Goodbye, alien mask man. And so we have all of the reports of some kind. The Great War of the Shadows has been completed. But no more... We're missing one Ergo Mundus story at the moment. Let's see. Let's try reading these. We'll see. What was the one I tried to read before? It was the Red Lady, I think, where it was like, I can't read this. Let's see if the English is alright on these. The Great War in the Shadows. Without a doubt, the conflict against the entity known as Baal has been the biggest secret war. After all, it's the one which had the largest number of supernatural forces and entities participate in all of Gaia's history. Its scale was such that in some occult circles they call it the true war in the shadow, considering the others a pale reflection of this event. The war took part during the 5th century, but the conflict was foreshadowed 1 decade before the Hariel Grimoire. The High Saint created the prophecy of the messengers of the end. Either way, it's difficult to determine the exact moment in which Baal started to act. For decades, several events escalated around the world, even if no one, not even the biggest powers and organizations in the world, realized that there were links between them, a pattern which repeated itself and was auguring darker times. Negligibly, a subtle wave of fatality began to cover the world while, in the shadows, a dark voice whispered unspeakable words. That seems to be English. Did they patch them, or is the last one still a nightmare? It was... Red Lady? Other than for more than 20 years has been the most efficient agent of no. No. That one has not been updated. Let's see. Great War of the Shadows Part 2. Following the instructions left by her lost sister Hariel, the Saint Eleni Grimoire, fiancé of the future Emperor Elijah Giovanni, investigated those events working together with the Order of Nathaniel and other secret organizations. Thus, she was the first to realize what was really going on. Something evil beyond all imagination was manifesting in the world. It was one thing to have such knowledge, but it was another thing altogether to do something about it. The actions of that nameless enemy were infuriatingly subtle, and its goals completely unknown, so fighting it was just impossible. Although many organizations investigated Grimoire's suspicions, they didn't take them seriously enough, which only served to create an atmosphere of unease among those who dwelled in the supernatural underworld. At that time, without understanding what they were facing, some occultists theorized that it was a forgotten god from ancient times which was preparing to come back. Ironically, a large number of infernal entities, including the most important demonic nobility, became very active, thinking along the same lines. And if they acted in this name of that unknown force, they could claim a place by its side once it revealed itself. That drove everything into even greater chaos, making impossible to tell apart the actions of the demons from those of the real enemy. Meanwhile, oblivious to everyone, the Nameless King, that's from a completely different game. The Nameless Thing had already spread its wings beyond everyone's comprehension. There's no apostrophe, I guess. Its presence contaminated many places of power, all the while corrupting those who would become its future agents. Finally, when it was too late to stop it, the enemy finally proved its existence to the world. Why is that in quotes? Why is it in apostrophe quotes? Anyway, its final direct action was the 13th of November of the year 479, when it consumed completely the infernal domain of Astaroth, the greatest demon king of all time, and used all the infernal power accumulated in the grim realm to give birth to its own personal army. The enemy also activated all its dormant agents simultaneously, many of which were occupying prominent positions in some of the most important organizations. Deceived and confused, their members clashed openly with each other, completely ignoring the true menace that was looming over the world. The event reached such magnitude that even the future Emperor Elijah Giovanni decided to take part in it. He and Eleni went along with a secret group of agents to Astaroth's hellish dimension where they could see a shadow of their true enemy. And that was the place wherein Eleni gave him a name, Baal, which in the old language means the master. Part 3. The entity wasn't material at all. It was like a living gate to hell. It represented something infinitely more terrible than the dimensions where the greater demons dwelled. It was a gathering of the residual energies of existence, born from the darkest part of every soul and nurtured by dead gods, a true hell like no being could ever dream. And it was the conscience of mankind which gave it its own will. The first encounter between Baal and Elijah ended with the destruction of Astaroth's dimension, which fell apart at the result of the energies that the Ultimate Messenger had drained from it. But neither Eleni nor the future Emperor could do anything to damage Baal, which escaped from the reality to continue its own plans. That was just a dark omen of the confrontation that was about to begin. However, no one could imagine yet the true objective of Baal. Its mobs attacked sacred and wicked places equally, destroying holy and unholy beings without apparent connection. And no matter how much they tried to stop the Ultimate Messenger, none seemed to be able to damage it. For every creature bonded to Baal who fell, 100 of even more powerful ones rose from its entrails. 100 more powerful messengers, I guess? No. Or just people? Anyway, the conflict reached his peak and the conflict reached his peak. Wait, oh, you mean, normally you would say its peak, as in like the peak of the conflict, but I think they mean literally Baal's peak, like a location in the maybe, in the sacred city of Kemi, where fate reunited a great number of powerful entities along with Elijah, Eleni, and the best High Inquisitors against an unlimited host of demons. The clash ended with the total destruction of the city, and even in such failure, there was also some victory. Eleni, who shared a connection with the entity, could sense its intentions the moment it extended its shadow over the ruins of Kemi. Baal sought to craft itself a physical form so it could manifest in the world, something that would allow it to fuse with existence itself and turn everything into a real hell. For that, Baal had to prepare the world by liberating enough demonic energy and consuming the sacred places which were anathema to its very nature. Ironically, the destruction of its own agents only empowered Baal even further. Thus, with each victory or defeat, Baal was closer to be material, and thanks to the energy generated by the destruction of Kemi, the living hell was finally prepared. Part 4. The 27th of September of the year 481, Baal created a vortex in the Four Seasons Shrine, where it began to accumulate all the darkest memories of mankind. With barely enough time to stop it, Elijah desperately gathered an uneven group, formed by the greatest heroes and darkest monsters, and traveled to the entrails of reality. At a great cost, and after being forced to destroy his now corrupted former mentor Druaga, the future emperor managed to arrive at the entity's core, the heart of evil itself. However, not even Elijah, the heir to the line of the unnatural Giovanni dynasty, could hope to win the fight without paying the greatest price. Eleni, who was always by his side, foreshadowed that the man she loved was destined to die there. Desperate in the very moment when the future emperor was to destroy Baal's immature form using the divine sword, Angelus, the saint, protected him with her body from the entity, allowing him to deal the final blow to the heart of hell. Although the essence of Baal managed to survive, the existential damage suffered by Elijah's hands added to the supernatural seals imposed over it by Eleni's blood, mixed with the this is just going to more elements. All right, mixed with the representative of those who dwelt in the dark, made impossible for it to ever fully recover itself. And that's how the greatest secret war came to an end, even if the price of the victory was greater than Elijah had ever wished. Here it is. It's the one I never solved from the very first dungeon. Whoa. Weird. The directions are reversed on how you move around on this thing. What's up with that? It's Rubida. Wait, it's not gonna fit. I must be misremembering it. Go to the keys. Looking for key. Oh, this needs so many more tabs to sort these damn items. Paper scrap. Ruby dust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay. Correct number of letters. I was forgetting about the S at the end, I guess. Ruby dust. There we go. Does that open up the rune thing that was over here? You?
This formula. It emanates a different energy from the rest of this place.
Okay.
This formula.
Did I do anything? Reuse. Nabarius. It says Nabarius. What does that mean? What did you open? What did you do? Oh wait, wasn't there a lock in the prison? I think the prison had a locked door. Let's see, this isn't new, right? This is just the portal? Yeah, that's just the portal room. I remember that path. That's the first one we discovered. So yeah, that was a scrap of paper I had in my inventory. I bought it from the vendor character at the core. I don't even remember when at this point. It was a long time ago. I think it was... I'm sure it was after we finished this area, but it was long enough later that I would have forgotten that there was kind of a combination for me to still fill in, I think. But late enough, obviously, that I wasn't in this dungeon anymore. So tired of this hallway. So if I remember correctly, there was a locked door around here. At the end of one of the hallways, there was like the chest. And I couldn't open it yet, so maybe this will now have it open. Oh. Is it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. That was the one weird mystery that was still hanging out over here. Has the 5 over it. Chronos. New ring. Probably an art. Sure, it's an artifact. So many of these now. Oh, Chronos is up here. Expanded experience. I assume that means faster experience gain. Seems to be statistically identical to Raphael's ring, but with experience instead of bonus. Bonus experience instead of bonus health regeneration. All right, probably not an item I'll actually use, but hey, that exists. I think I finally figured out the use for this item. I have an item I've had for a while called the Core of the Fantasy, and it has some reference to a child in its description. And this is the fantasy world called Folklore, and it clearly has this weird Stonehenge structure in the middle, and we've never used it for anything. And this game's kind of low budget, so whenever something stands out from the environment, it's used for something. We're definitely discovering that when all these weird landmarks are being used for like mask quests and stuff like that. So now, sit with me while we slowly scroll through all of the items looking for the specific one. There we go. I was right.
Jonathan floated around, watching the world beneath his feet, and created a cup of tea out of thin air. For him, everything was just a toy. A huge playroom full of pieces to entertain him and mitigate his eternal monotony. As he took the first sip, Jonathan thought it was increasingly difficult to find something funny to distract himself with lately. He had tried dozens of characters, playing both hero and villain, helping thousands of people, and sentencing just as many others to horrible fates. Light, darkness, weren't they just different aspects of the same thing? No matter how much time passed, Jonathan would not change. He wasn't an adult in a child's body, but a child frozen in time, one that would never grow, an aspect of fantasy itself. What should he do now to have fun?
There we go. That should be the last Capel memory. So he's just a bored, petulant child being a dick to everybody, so that's no real loss defeating him. He was still the best boss fight in the entire game, by the way. There's a few finicky moments, and really the biggest problem was the lighting, making it hard to see the orbs that tell you what element he's using. But aside from that, like, it had cool stuff. It was designed well. You would switch back and forth between the forms and dodge things and stuff, where a lot of the other attacks have been a weird mess. Remember when I fought Nazcal? I literally stood on the edge of the rim of the level in front of him on the catwalk, and I would just do jump, attack, 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 jump, attack, 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 attack. I was just standing like in this weird hitbox location where I didn't seem to be exposed. I think Nazca was designed to only be attackable when he lowered a weak spot down to the floor, like a lot of those characters that have like their big torso sticking out of the background and they have their hands and their face and stuff, and a lot of brawlers and a lot of boss fight games really. But because I could just jump up there, I could just barely hit him just standing right there, so I just basically didn't have a boss fight with him, which is weird. Still missing the last Malekith and Druaga, but other than that, we're actually caught up on memories. Have I actually talked to this guy yet?
Foolish entity, you have unleashed me. You broke the chains of the most powerful entity there ever was.
Ergo, you and this guy should be friends.
You don't really know who you're talking to, do you, little punk? I am Ergo Mundus. I am power incarnated.
You are nothing. I am the one who devours everything. The one who stands over creation itself. I am the power.
Best friends forever.
I am weak now, but I am slowly regaining my power. Soon, I will be complete. Foolish, if you wish to measure your pathetic power with the greatest being ever. Come back soon. Once I am complete, you will have the challenge of your lifetime.
Alright, what does later mean?
I am almost complete. Soon, the most powerful creature in the whole existence will exist again. I only need all the little circles in the center of the room lit.
That was an oddly petty request. Like, I would be the most powerful demigod super being ever in the history of the world. Could you go collect those memories for me, pretty please? Pretty please. We're actually really close. Is this a platforming segment? That's probably it, because I can't find anything else in all of the Druaga area. Oh, there, yeah, we haven't been here yet. That's an item. Okay. Oh, you can see on the map that there's a path over there, too. Come on. Ooh, that was close. Where are we? Oh, there we go.
Waiting in the center of the ruins, a part of the mind of Druaga was following closely the remote progress of the intruders who were fighting his servants. Many of the attackers were entities of great power, special beings who had changed the world's fate with their own hands many times in the past. And they were there just to stop him. That simple idea filled Druaga with a strange satisfaction. But it was the presence of one of them in particular, the one who apparently led the group, that attracted his attention specifically. He was ahead of the others, no doubt trying to buy time. Druaga raised his head and looked at the mortal who stood before him. Inside, a part of what he had once been recognized the intruder and stirred. Satisfied, this was the moment he had waited for, the instant that made everything worthwhile. A mixture of pride and hatred filled him when he uttered the name of his disciple and saw that Elijah recognized him. To win, to lose, it mattered very little. Druaga was complete.
Now we're done. Oh. What? What are those? Wait, we haven't seen this before, have we? There's a secret enemy hiding next to a memory? I don't remember you guys. You guys are creepy. I don't like them. I don't like them. This Sky attack. They're kind of low level, aren't they? I actually forgot what level I'm level 12. Okay. Down with all of you. They're just gonna keep coming? Am I locked in here? Kind of, maybe. Are these guys here because it's the second to last memory, or just because they guard the specific memory? Ow.
This is the end.
Ow.
This is the end.
I don't think I even hit them, actually. Back off. Ah, come here. Come here. Tired of your bullshit now. Get it, come on. Come on. Come on. You know what you did. Punishment time. What else? Who else wants some? Come on. I'm out of energy. I was trying to do the explosion again.
Yeah.
We good? We good. We're almost there then. That's Druaga's last memory. Malekith. One memory left in the entire game. Is there anywhere else to go from here? That dead end doesn't necessarily seem like it's new territory. And this goes to the center chamber. Yep, that just drops down to the center chamber. I'll hop down here really quick, but I think this is just the place I've been to before. This seems awfully familiar. Yeah, that's the platforming segment. Okay, so that's it for this.